go to tarotnerds.us and see what courses are in store for you. Welcome to your video. Thank you all for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, take a second to look around. After the video, there's the About tab. We also have the community board and merchandise. Any information for products and services, the website, or tarot school, you can look in the description box. If it resonates, don't forget to hit the like button. And if it doesn't, if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, then you will receive the alerts the next time I post, and hopefully that taps into your frequency. Now, as we get started, you have the earthworm, gazelle, and the hawk. The above and below energy is the octopus and the frog. And these, I believe, are both water elements. So that's kind of cool. Now, anytime I see a worm and a hawk, I was like, don't they eat the hawk, right? I'm sorry, the worms are birds eat worms. And I know some of y'all like, girl, them like baby birds. But I did think of that, where the earthworm is like on the ground, literally, and can't like go nowhere else. And then the hawk, like, of course, has the expansion to see from a different perspective, 3D, 5D, right? Because if I'm on the ground, I can only see things a certain way, but from a different angle or up above, I can see a broader perspective. I know the differences in the hawk and the earthworm would even be like on the food chain. The worm can't really protect itself, and anybody and everybody can eat it. But the hawk on the other end, even if you just go from the guidebook of the lineup of the animals, it's a pretty good card to have in the outcome, the advice, or like in the last position, because it's further down in the journey. And then there's the midsection of my gazelle, which is always her awareness. And then I also thought about food, because the hawk, and the worm, for some of us, just be mindful of our diets, sugars, caffeines, and all that kind of stuff. Because if we do have the whole racing mind kind of syndrome, the things that we're putting into our bodies may not help. Oh, and I forgot this part, right? Very important detail. Today, we have a full moon in Capricorn. So I wanted to do something, if necessary, to help us get through the day, clarity, if nothing else, entertainment, advisory, something that could help you in this moment. So yeah, Capricorn full moon, it affects us all differently. And Capricorn full moon, I think I've talked about it before, depending on where it is in your chart, it may affect you. But for some of us that have, some of us that may be more sensitive energetically, and then how the emotions are connected to what we're thinking, and that just going one way or the other, like it just derails. It's very important to kind of like watch your thoughts and any suspicions or any additives. Okay, like I said caffeine and sugar and stuff like that. But those of you that may, engage in other activities, just be mindful, because it could heighten or emphasize the mental state. You know what I mean? And there could be some discomfort in, having thoughts or hallucinations, and or just kind of like I don't want to say suspicions and superstitions, but it's just not grounded. It isn't grounded. And as I talk about the multiple dimensions, we want to have a balance of knowing where we are, even if there's somewhere else we want to be. That's important. And the reason why I say that, and I say it with care, because I have seen some manic states of being on a different dimension, or hallucinations that aren't necessarily a bad thing. Like, I don't think, oh, they're crazy, lock them up. But I sympathize and understand when I see people sometimes in a manic state of hallucinating. And I've said to Source, they just in another dimension. Like, they're not where we are. And some people see these folks, and it's like you see them in passing, downtown or on the streets, homeless, and all kind of things. And it's like, just talking to themselves, or how we talk to ourselves could be very important, because it's like we say things to ourselves to get, and that increases whatever, black hole we about to slide down. Some things that may be true, eating us up, because I did see the black egg. And then there's an energy of, needing to have the heart and be brave to get through whatever the awakening, whatever the energy or situations or full moon may bring your way, it's like having a heart and being courageous, not, letting it get the best of us. Okay. So when we start with the earthworm is shy and hesitant and reluctant to share inner visions, right? We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point, so you see some woes involved. The earthworm indicates a newbie or novice working to establish confidence in a new field. And then I thought about, like I said, the lion that I saw in my pre-shuffle when I said having courage and heart and bravery. Bam. The earthworm indicates also others around you may seem wise and experienced. So look at the hawk, who's pretty freaking wise, right? And look how we start with kind of hesitant and reluctant. So how it starts isn't always like how it's going to end. It's actually going to be, it looks like a little bit better. What's important is to remember that even if we are the hawk or the wise one that's experienced, we have once felt the earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it, a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. Okay? Earnest, intelligent, valuable. When in balance, when out of balance, it is self-conscious and apprehensive. So look at that, apprehensive and, like I said, suspicions or self-conscious and how we talk to ourselves. But when in balance, it has the intelligence of the hawk. It knows its value or does have some value to the environment, right? To bring into balance, speak up and risk embarrassment. Like, so what type of energy? Now then we get to the gazelle. The gazelle is representing a heightened awareness and ability as well as vulnerability. And so some of us, it's like being okay with being vulnerable, being okay with not knowing, being okay with being the underdog, being okay even as the enlightened one that needs to, have compassion and humility for when we were once not the enlightened one, right? The gazelle represents supreme grace. Maybe that's why I saw the lion. It could be the challenging aspect or something needed at present. Because see, the earthworm for some of us represents a situation from the past. So with the present and or, the challenge, with every move, the awe-inspiring beauty emits sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant. And this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all of those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. So out of those racing thoughts from back then or out of those racing thoughts about the what ain't happened, being in the present, or there's something in the present moment that could be challenging our mental state. Because I look at the little color on the octopus and I know sometimes that is also like a racing mind, but with all of the different tentacles, it's like just all over the place going in every direction though. So a racing mind, even if you have creative thoughts and want to do a whole bunch, it's like not being directed. You know what I mean? It also tells us to sit down. And I know the frog either leaps forward, right? It's about leaping and moving forward. But when the rain is falling, okay, when the raindrops are present and they're on the little card, it does also talk about healing. And so I see that in the picture they didn't capture the frog leaping. They captured it under, the water, healing from energy, okay, to clear the energy, and even enthusiasm. Like if there's something about our energy or our mind or just the energy around us or our thoughts that get us feeling depleted or like we're running on empty, there's like rest and healing, right? Until we get clarity on our directions, so that we can assert some of that energy properly, right? Because the gazelle also says to nourish let it nourish our gentle spirits. So being vulnerable or dealing with embarrassment, not being shy or dealing with being shy, there's where our vulnerability could be Our vulnerability and our grace and the shyness and everything could be a gift within itself. It's kind of like beginner's luck for some of you. But when in balance, it talks about graceful, perceptive, and artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, and a racing mind. So just again, be mindful of food intake. Be mindful of, insomnia, staying up, or what's keeping you up. And then there's also the racing mind energy. To bring things into balance, yin and yoga, a cozy home, and good food. So again, another emphasis on better food. And it also talks about getting the home cozy, and the yin, okay, not the yang in this particular situation. The hawk comes out as watchful and all-seeing. It's a messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail as well as the bigger picture. So every little detail that got our minds spinning, it's also about seeing the bigger picture. So there's an energy of stepping back a little bit to see the bigger picture. When this card appears, fate has its eyes on you and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly. Though it may seem small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course. So look at the earthworm. When we started the reading, that seemed a bit insignificant or felt that way. It's actually maybe a bigger deal than we think. Okay? So when in balance, seeing clearly and intuitively, or being intuitive, but when out of balance, sees too much and is suspicious. And look how out of balance it reflects the energy of the out of balance gazelle energy also. Now, to bring things into balance for whatever the challenges could be, the hawk recommends that we shift our perspective. So I think that that's kind of cool. Now with the below, we have cleansing, cleaning, clearing, and healing. Clearing some of the clutter out of your mind, because I'm still looking at that octopus. But some of you guys, the gazelle to me so much is close to the deer, and I think of the Queen of Pentacles. So the grace also comes from like the Lady in the Strength card. So there's something about like inner strength, grace, humility, but also this grounded energy, this dealing with domestic matters, this organization, this administering, and the energy of the Queen of Pentacles, right? A little bit. So decorating, getting things organized, just to take our minds off of whatever it is that it's on, doing something. And I'm not saying staying busy, kind of like tucking it down, but an idle mind, which some of us is not going to have, is just kind of like to take your minds off of things, especially if things bring you anxiety, or just aren't favorable. Do something else, right? And that would include redecorating, designing, cleaning up, organizing, all that kind of stuff. Or do something to help somebody else, take your mind off yourself. The frog also talks about spending time, for the first few months of its life entirely within the healing element, and then emerges to rest on land. So from water to the land is like 8 cups, right? And the 8 of cups is like walking away from things that no longer serve us. It also talks about avoiding chaos and confusion, but it could have also been losses from being in a cloud, confused, daydreaming, and not taking any of the cups and moving forward to something else, whatever that something else is, which is either contentment or wish fulfillment. Like if things didn't give you what it was you wanted out of those 7 cups, the 8 cups is just about moving on sometimes, okay? Or not thinking about the things that no longer serve us. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, it needs for cleansing and rejuvenation on a regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished. And see, the sustainer, the Queen of Pentacles in shadow, and this frog still has the embodiment of overworked, overdoing stuff, and undernourished, because we talked about food and better foods. So that's like nourishing ourselves. And then those of us that may already be busy, physically and or mentally, here's the overworked sort of energy. So it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. It's time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. And the load, like I said, for some of us seems to be mentally. So when, not for everybody. So when in balance, clear energy, and like I said, enthusiasm for life. But when out of balance, feeling depleted and running on empty. To bring into balance, be by water, lakes, rivers, oceans, and or your bathroom, child. And some of y'all is like need to clean the bathroom. And then since we're talking about food allergies and diets, you might end up in the bathroom. You got to heal that. No, I'm just saying. So yeah, that is what I have, and I do hope that it helps.